Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Heather. I know it's been a while since I put an actual denture video up here. I'm still going through a bunch of GI shit, and I just figured that I need to make certain videos to discuss certain things so people have the knowledge. Because I have no idea when this epiphytic appendicitis thing is ever going to get better. And it's been extremely frustrating. But before I get started, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you want to. Keep the channel alive and going. Yeah. I really wanted to make this video discussing the bottom denture and just knowledge of dentures. Everybody's like, no adhesive works for my bottom denture. That's because even the smallest gap of hole, the water comes in and melts the adhesive. Soft reliners are imperative to stay on top of when it comes to the bottom denture. You know, even if you do it every other month for your top, especially in your first year, once you get your permanent dentures, which should be after a year, because the first year your gums shrink ridiculously. If you get them too soon, it's basically a second immediate denture. It ain't going to do any helpfulness to you for the next 7 years once you get past the massive gum shrinkage stage. Even with permanent dentures, you still need to do a soft reliner. Your gums still shrink, just not as rapid fire. But the bottom denture is, I don't use any adhesive. I have my denture fit in there. It keeps everything level. It doesn't flop. It doesn't do any of that. But for everybody that either has a warranty and they can't use denture fit, or they just can't and don't want to use denture fit, you need to stay on top of your soft reliners no matter what you're using. Because literally the smallest gap in your denture, top or bottom, mainly the bottom, will flood in water like a mother. And it'll melt all the adhesive. So then it'd be pointless to even wear, adhesive, because it's gonna melt it anyway. Also, people are like, oh, you don't have to wait 45 minutes to an hour before you eat or drink. Yes, you do. Adhesive is a mushy glue that needs to dry. All glue needs to dry, right? Like whether you do crafts, whether you put something back together, whether you do whatever, you still let your glue dry before you go using it. So yes, adhesive still needs to dry. You have to, I always tell people, do a thin layer. Like literally blop whatever adhesive in there, take a Q-tip, and just make a thin layer on the whole inside of the denture wall, the denture where your gums sit, the whole inside of the denture. If it's a top denture, the top palate, the whole inside of the denture, a thin layer. The Q-tip will take the extra off. And then once you put it in the right spot you needed to put it in, wait 45 minutes to an hour to let it dry. Normally 45 minutes is good, but a lot of people wait 10 minutes. Stop doing that. That's why it's not working. If it doesn't dry, that means your denture doesn't sit. So when you go to eat, it's moving it around. So when it does dry, it's now in the off-center, wrong bite, whether it's top or bottom. You can have, like, it's so crooked up top, your, like, midline will be, like, off to the side. So you need to stay on top of your soft reliners. That's one. You have to. So the only way to have a good quality of life with dentures is you've got to stay on top of your soft reliners. Also, adhesive, stop doing too many blobs. Now, I don't know why denture adhesive says this, but they're like, oh yeah, put a blob here, here, and here. Great, when you put it in, it only mushes a little bit down, so what about the denture wall? What about the spaces in between the blobs? That's all uneven. So you only have a good hold where the blobs are. And even that, it still has to dry, and that's a big thick blob you gotta wait to dry, which would take longer than 45 minutes. But when you place it, the water will come in because you did not cover the holes or gaps and letting it dry. So when you put it on inside of your denture, along the denture wall and everything, that's covering everything and protecting the small holes I'm talking about. You got medium to big holes, man, you need a soft reliner today. But waiting for 45 minutes to dry will help protect the barrier. So with the bottom denture, if you have a little hole, the water's going to come in and melt your adhesive. So if you want adhesives to work, people say, oh, no adhesive works. That's how I know when somebody needs a soft reliner, when they tell me no adhesive in the world works. Well, that's BS, because one of them would have to work out of the 50 billion there is out there. And I mean, Polygrip, don't even bother. It's a shitty adhesive. I understand when people first start out, they use adhesive, they reach for Polygrip, and they're like, oh, it's the only adhesive, I've ever used, and people are a creature of habit, so they stick to that. There's better adhesives out there, I swear to you. Now, I first started with Fix-It, actually I tried all adhesives, but Fix-It and Scope is what I used. Then I tried Fix-It and Ultramax, and that was the best adhesive. If you have a good fitting denture, just in general, and you use Fix-It and Ultramax, that shit will stay in there between 14 to like 20 hours. That's why I had to make a video on how to take out your denture if it won't come out and it's stubborn. Because that adhesive, when you have a correct fitting denture, will actually hold insanely. But so many people don't understand. With your bottom denture, your water automatically goes to the bottom. Everything you eat automatically goes to the bottom. No matter what you do, it's all in the bottom. Coffee, no matter what's in your mouth of liquid and food, it'll be automatically, because of gravity, go straight to the bottom. So if you even have the smallest hole, you're now forcing shit in there, and it'll melt it. So to have a good quality of life with your bottom denture, stay on top of soft reliners. You could do a hard reliner, like if you're in your permanent denture, and I mean you got your permanent denture after a year, then you could do a hard reline once a year. Because hard reliner is a permanent hard acrylic. What your denture is made out of is what a hard reliner is. So it's not going to permanently forever fix it, but the material is permanent. So if you do too much of that, yes, it will get thick. So that's why they recommend soft reliners. So definitely make sure I always tell people, always get all the information. When I first started, I didn't have any of the information. I had to wing it, and everything I learned was on the go and how I learned everything. But there's so much information out there. Now, I've done well over 800 videos, redoing, discussing, doing anything I can to have everybody have all the information done correctly of how you can live your life with dentures. So many people didn't even know about soft reliners. They're like, oh, I never even knew that. I just didn't wear my denture. Your dentist, especially if you have a warranty, one, you should have paper that comes with your warranty that you signed. That will tell you what your warranty entails. Then if you can also ask your dentist. But they should be telling you about soft reliners. They should be telling you when to do them. Like, literally, I know some places are really messed up. I always tell people, do not do a warranty unless it's unlimited soft reliners. Because for the first year, there's so much gum shrinkage. Even if you do a soft reliner, it can be loose in like a week. That's how much gum shrinkage there is. So you should be doing a soft reliner once a month. And then a good adhesive with it for the first year. Having all the information and implementing it is really important to have a successful journey. Because having a super loose denture, like somebody asked me, can I use my permanent top with my immediate bottom? No. Because your immediate dentures are the size of what your mouth was with teeth in. So they are way bigger than your permanents. You can literally fit your permanent denture inside your immediate denture. So your bite would be off. You would permanently damage stuff like your freaking TMJ. You would mess up a whole bunch of stuff. So I really don't recommend mixing them, please. Don't do that. Unless like your denture's broken, you don't have a choice and it's for like a week. But doing it no, don't do that. Stick to your dentures. And things can be adjusted. So if things hurt as gum shrink, your bottom denture goes down and your top denture goes up. So you're going to need to do adjustments. If you don't have a warranty, a simple nail file does the trick. You just do it on the exact spot that hurts, take a smidge off of the nail file, pop it back in, you're good to go. That's why they're all free for everybody, all adjustments. Because it's so easy to do and it takes like a second. That's why, like, when my dentist was like, oh, we can fit you in 3 weeks, I'm like, I'll do it myself, never mind. And that's how I learned to do them myself. But it's really important to have a better quality of life, to knowing the tricks of the trade and tips that you can do to make your life a whole lot easier. A whole lot easier. Like, people always ask me when they should get their permanent denture. My biggest pet peeve is only 10% of dentists do this. When they say the immediate denture becomes permanent, that's BS. Because they're not even made the same. No immediate denture can become a permanent denture by using a hard reline. That's your hard reliner is permanent, not your denture. Your denture is still not permanent. You still are going with an immediate denture for the next 5 to 8, whatever years that you do it. So when dentists say that, get a new dentist and don't go deal with them, because that is totally wrong. A hard reline, the material is permanent. It's not the denture. The immediate dentures are made temporarily, to be used temporarily. Permanent dentures are made to be lasted 5 to 10 years. Normally 8 years, I would be pushing it to do 10. Because you gotta understand, these teeth don't stay big. They get filed down basically with all the eating and stuff through the years. So you definitely don't want to wait 10 years to get a new denture, because your teeth will be itty bitty tiny. Plus, with gum shrinkage, your denture goes down, this goes up, so we smile. The teeth will eventually disappear. So immediate dentures cannot become permanent dentures. But you should get your permanent denture starting the molds at 1 year. Not receiving it, because that means you did the molds at 9 months, 10 months. You know, wait a month for it to come back and forth, do your wax try on, blah, 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 blah. It should be started at 1 year. Really, they say up to 16 months. Like 16 months is really when you should do it. But I always tell people, start the process at 1 year. Don't do it any time before that. I don't know why Aspen and Affordable, why you tell people to do it at 6 months. If you know anything about dentures and how the human body works, it takes a year for the massive gum shrinkage to stop. So stop telling people to do that, because it's not even true or factual in any way. It's not. The human anatomy and body, biology, all that, it takes a year for all this gum shrinkage go down. It even actually takes longer than that. Especially, depends on the body. But it takes a minimum of a year. It can take 14 months, 16 months, all of that. But having the facts of how to make a bottom denture stay on top of the soft relines, guys. If your denture is wiggling around, you can put, you know, if water is melting the adhesive in any way, that's when you know you need a soft reliner. When you take out your denture at night, even if it stayed in all day, if it's wet and mushy, that means water's coming in and melting it. So definitely do a soft reliner. But for the bottom denture, it's not easy for a bottom denture. There's no palate, there's no barrier to protect against the water, because it immediately goes straight under. And our bottom jaw is the only thing that hinges, so it'll move the water in. That's why you gotta stay on top of it. It's so important. So important. But I'm gonna stop talking. You guys get the point. I love you guys. Have a healthy, happy denture day. Later.